That's what it is. Is it 6:30 official?
Yes.
Okay, 6:30 on November 17th, 2025. We'll call the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, audience comments. Before we get started, would anybody have any comments they'd like to make prior to the meeting beginning? There'll be another section at the end that'll be open to public comment. But if there's anything anyone would like to say before we get started, now's the time to do so. Okay, we'll move on. Approval of minutes. Everyone had a chance to read the meeting minutes from October 20th, public hearing and regular meeting. Just wanted to check on. I didn't have any changes. Good. Let's do them separately. Can we get a motion for each?
I'll make the motion to the October 2025 special meeting.
We'll go by public hearing and go by regular meeting. Yeah,
Except the Monday, October 2025 public hearing.
Wait a second. All in favor?
I'm going to say because I wasn't there for that.
You don't have to abstain, but you can if you want.
Well, can I accept that anyway? If I wasn't there. Okay,
You
can I
only need
accept?
3 votes. You know, unanimous vote, you're all 3.
Why do you need all unanimous votes? All you need is a majority.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a majority of the 5.
No.
Okay.
You only need a majority of the 5 if you're doing, if you were approving a text amendment or something like that.
Okay.
Not for minutes.
Not for minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion for the regular meeting.
Make a motion for the regular meeting minutes for October 20, 2025.
A second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, correspondence. We have one piece of correspondence from Mr. Peter Grillo dated November 10th, 2025. To Wakekeeper Jack Joslin David Shippey. I'm formally resigning immediately from the following commissions listed below: Economic Development Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission. Sincerely, Mr. Peter Grillo. Peter is no longer with us on the commission.
And the Board of Selectmen will hear that tomorrow morning, because it came in after the last meeting.
And he's not here tonight, so. Effective immediately. Actually, this has.
Yes.
Do you have anything else, Judy? Is that the only piece?
That was no focus.
Okay. Unfinished business. Special permit for earth excavation, 0 Cleanfield Pike, 14A, Mr. Charles Corson. So, since we are still in the middle of public hearing, we don't have any public input. I don't know if there's been any further commentary from
I haven't gotten anything from either the applicant or the engineer, so.
So, unless you have something you want to discuss, there's nothing else. There's nothing.
No, I think it would be appropriate just to table it till, your December 15th. Or actually, you need to, we discuss at this point,
We can discuss, but
no, discuss the special, holding the special meeting,
you're right, this would be a good idea to do that.
or setting the special meeting date for December 15th.
So you have to make a motion to do it out of order, correct? Because that would be new business to set a special meeting.
No. No, I think it's really
Necessarily has to be.
Uh, We're going to need, we're in the public hearing, but do we need a special meeting to discuss this after that? Or can that wait until January? That'll be too late, right?
No, because you're, well,
Well, we would either have to approve it at the January meeting, or we have to act in one way, whether it's approval or denial.
it depends on whether you close,
Whether we got another.
you have, once you've opened the public hearing, you have 35 days in which to close. So you have to close the public hearing in December or continue it. If you continue it, then it would just be being tabled anyway.
Let's assume it closes on December 15th. Opens and closes.
If you want to be able to take action on it, you would need to have an actual meeting in order to do that.
Right, but I'm saying if we close it on December 15th, we can then we can act on.
You could act on it that day if you wanted to. You can close on it immediately after acting on it, or you can start discussing it.
We would need a special meeting
To discuss
after the public hearing.
Yes.
We need a public hearing and a special meeting.
Correct.
But can we wait until January and handle it then? Or would that be up against the wall and there'd be no room for further commentary back and forth between engineering, applicant, et cetera?
Technically,
I think we'd be up against the deadline at that point.
well, technically, you shouldn't,
Close.
you shouldn't be getting, once the public hearing is closed, you shouldn't be getting commentary from
There should be no new information.
no new information either way. So if you closed it at the December meeting,
When are those notices going out to the abutting properties?
they would have to go out 10 days prior to,
December.
To the December meeting?
yeah,
Fourth of
December
August,
meeting.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see where there's a downside to posting a special meeting, because it's both, for a special meeting, basically, it's, you can only address what you put on the agenda.
Right, so we could have discussion on,
Right, so only what you want on the agenda would be posted on the agenda.
so do we make the public hearing, if we make the public hearing for 6:30, can we make the special meeting?
You can make a special meeting immediately following public hearing.
6:45, that way we don't waste half an hour sitting around.
You don't necessarily even have to put a time to it. You could say
I thought we did.
special meeting to follow public hearing, but you can put a time to it, but
I thought in the past we said we don't like that because there has to be a time posted. Will be there so that they can be there on time and not show up late and say, well, I thought it was.
you can put a time.
I think
But-
it's better to do the time. And you can also schedule a Zoom link. And if it doesn't start until later,
That's why I honestly believe public hearing should be part of your meeting. it should be an agenda item within your meeting. If you don't have a public hearing, then you skip over
Talk about doing that. We've never done that here, as long as I've been here, but.
it. Because you can schedule a public hearing for your next regular scheduled meeting. I mean, that's how many towns do it. So that the public hearing, that way you don't have to show up at 6. You show up at 6:30. You always know what time the meeting is, just, there's this many public hearings at the beginning of the meeting. So it might be a longer meeting than others. So the rest of the agenda might need to be lighter.
So we could. So what we do, the public hearing, then we do a special meeting, we can have discussion. And we would still have until January to actually.
Yes, because once you close the public hearing, you
Yeah.
still have 65 days in which to decide the application.
I think we should do that, it'll be a tiny bit more work on the 15th. But we can get that first round of communication over with before we have to make a ruling, so that we can. And still be within our deadline. Does you guys be open to that? Sure. Okay. Can we do both those in one motion, or do we need separate motions for it? I'll make several
Yeah.
motions. Yeah.
Since they're 2 separate meetings, technically. Well, they are, so.
Who wants to combine them anyway, so.
Why don't, I mean, just say we're gonna
Okay,
have
let's do one motion for
a special meeting
a,
that contains a public hearing starting at 6:30 on December 15th.
at 6:30.
PM. I'll make a motion to have a special meeting, a special meeting containing a public hearing on December 15th at 6:30 PM.
Wait a second. All those in favor? Okay. So with that, we can table this to December.
Make a motion to table.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 6B, planning and zoning, proposed text amendment, zoning regulations, discussion and possible action. So we have a couple of bullet points, definitions, prohibited uses in the Sterling Industrial Park, minimum lot area, formatting clarification, 6.04 accessory apartments, and section 9.03 fees. Do we have any further discussion amongst ourselves? I don't. We have a motion to approve. There would be a motion to approve, supplemental zoning regulations. Agenda item 16.
Make a motion to approve the proposed text amendments and zoning regulations for section 6B,
Agenda item 16.
agenda item 16.
We have a second?
And you
All
just,
those in favor?
you just need to set an effective
And
date.
then we'll set an effective date. I was gonna do that as a second motion. We're gonna just include it here.
You can include it here, or you can do it in the second one.
Okay,
You wanna make them all
so,
effective at the same time.
Yeah, let's set the date now. Effective date will be, what makes sense? Actually, meeting day. Be tomorrow.
They have to
No,
be,
it
they
has
have
to
to
be
be noticed,
posted.
they have to be posted, it's gonna be 15 days. So that,
So it's December.
So.
your notice of action has to go out
So we can make it December
15th, you could, your next regular meeting, or you can make it the start of the year, either one.
Special. Oh, gotcha.
Let's make it January 1st. Make January 1st, that then there's plenty of time to get everything posted. Okay, that's January 1st.
Whole motion just has it.
Are we
The
doing
date
a
of
whole
January.
motion?
Whole motion.
Is that what we're doing, or second motion?
No, we'll include it in Steve's motion.
So Steve's motion is to
Approve agenda item
agenda
6B,
6B,
amending zoning text amendment changes with an effective date of January 1st,
2026.
2026. Do we have a second? All in favor? Okay, agenda item 6C, proposed text amendment changes, subdivision regulations. This includes section 2, general provisions, section 8, public open space, and section 10.2, building lots. Do we have any further discussion? We have a motion.
I will make a motion to accept the proposed text amendments, agenda items 6C, to be effective on January 1st.
Do we have a second? All those in favor? Okay. New business. Item A, election of new officers. Since, we do not have John Turbin, I suggest that in fairness to all current members, we postpone that until January, which will be the next regular meeting. At this time, for Steve, doing a motion. You make a motion to table that until the next regular meeting.
To table 7A, agenda item for next
Next regular meeting.
regular meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Item 7B, 2026 meeting schedule. Have you had a chance to look at the meeting schedule for next year? We have all 6:30 PMs again, so that's one item for discussion. If you guys are okay with 6:30 still. And then our dates are January 12th, February 9th. With double asterisk, because that's early for President's Day.
And January 12th is also,
January 12th is slightly early,
it's a week.
a week early. March 16th, April 20th, May 18th, June 15th, July 20th, August 17th, September 21st, October 19th, and November 6th. You have any vacations planned for those dates?
I'll make a motion.
Don't you like to make one? No. You can go ahead, don't worry.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept agenda item 7B, 2026 meeting schedule.
You have a second? All those in favor? Okay, we have another application here that came in basically on time, and the reason it's not on our schedule is a communication error with the new permit link and staff. It wasn't seen by people on time, so this will be similar to last month's when we added, we discussed adding a new agenda item, so if we're going to add this agenda item, which is for Mr. and Mrs. Iatrate, who are independent, if we can add this to this agenda and then immediately begin discussion, we need a motion to accept this as a new agenda item, 7C.
Motion to add the subdivision application. Can't pronounce the last
I
name.
agree.
I agree.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7, as agenda item 7C. Second.
All those in favor? Okay, this agenda item is hereby added to the schedule, so we can begin discussion. Would you like to give us a brief overview on what we're looking at?
Sure.
Introduce yourself, whatever you think may be important.
We live at 1 Pond Road, and we have 27 acres that we're dividing. And we have the work done of dividing. This has been about 3 years now, the process going through this. We needed a variance. We did go through the appeals board, and we got a variance. So we're ready to get a final approval from you. I did submit with my application, the things that were needed. I don't know if you have them with you, if not, I have them here.
And I do remember your application from the first time you presented it, and I think we had a buildable area
Yes.
issue that was the outstanding.
Yes, so
problem.
there was a pond on the property.
Yeah.
And, they gave us, in the appeals board, they gave us 10 feet, which makes it all work.
And then
So
your
that's-
buildable area, because you were very tight between
Exactly.
the corner of the property and
Yes,
the
there's a
pond. I
pond
think the
there,
pond was
correct.
like and wasn't it a man-made pond?
It's a
also?
man-made
It's a man-made pond,
So
yeah.
you made your own problem. Or the previous
We didn't do
owner,
it.
the previous owner made the problem for you, yeah.
So we're just looking for final approval.
Right.
So for the record, this is, this technically is also this is a re-subdivision. So the original
Right.
subdivision was approved, actually, I have a copy of the plan in that stack, I think, of things there, but, the original subdivision was, I don't know if it was back in 2002.
2006, maybe?
Re-subdivision, it was re-subdivided once in 2006. So this would be the second re-subdivision. Due to the fact that it is a re-subdivision, it will require a public hearing. Just because by state statute, all re-subdivisions require public hearings. Even though it's only a 1-lot subdivision, it's just a law. You have to do it. So even though you can review it tonight, you will still have to set it to a public hearing date. And you do have a copy of the, what I provided you guys in the smaller packet was, a copy of the variance which was approved, I believe, on May 27th, 2025. For section 4.02C, shape and location of minimal buildable area. You also have a copy of the minutes for the inland wetlands meeting from the original approval in 2023.
I have a letter, Jim. Did you get my letter?
Northeast District.
I have a letter that actually,
Letter from the Department of Public Health.
no, I'll show you right here.
Okay, because I didn't get a copy of I was trying to find the file from the Inland Wetlands Commission. Oh, okay, I didn't get a copy of this, so that's good. So we can put this into the record. This is a wetlands approval letter from June 28th for that application. Just of note, so the wetlands approval and the health department approval will be of the plan, the original plan that was submitted.
Right.
What is being submitted for them is the CLA plan, which is just the two sheets showing the outline in the buildable polygon area. Whereas, because one was submitted for health, with the health department with the original one,
Right.
and then this one, because one will have to be certified and signed by the surveyor that they're working with now, prior to being filed and everything else, Mylar being filed and everything. And currently, just FYI, nothing's been submitted to town engineering or anything like that, and I don't know if it necessarily, I don't know if it ever got reviewed, the previous one,
I don't remember.
if it had been or not. There are 2 easements, but I think they're easements that were carried over easements from the previous subdivision. They were just drainage easements.
I don't remember that either. Okay. So the question is, should we have our engineering review this?
Usually engineering has to review, they for sure have to review something that involves any kind of public improvements or kind of a public taking per your subdivision regulations. So for example, when we did the Grillo subdivision, because you were taking property for the roadway, they had to review it for that, for those purposes. This is a re-subdivision, the taking of the roadway was already happened. So I just don't know if they reviewed the original development plan, but technically the development plan isn't, it's just for the purposes of whether or not the lot is reasonably developable. They still would have to go back and have an engineered plan for their septic system based on their septic system approval. They still have to have that, an engineered plan done by an engineer in order to construct their septic system and build their house. So they would still need to do building plans, all that kind of stuff, and submit all of that to the health department to actually build everything. That wouldn't necessarily come back to you guys. That would all be done through the zoning enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Once the lot is,
It looks to me like that's been done. Has that?
Yeah, that's all been done. I
Yeah.
actually have a
There's a
plan that
copy,
has been
there's a
stamped.
letter from NDDH.
Yeah, I have a plan that is.
that's not an approval, that, all that is that's subdivision if you read it, right?
Okay.
If you read it, what it says is that's an approval for the subdivision plan,
Oh, it does, yeah.
but it's not an approval for the building lot to actually construct a house.
Okay.
So they still have to, they would still, once the lot's been established, when they're, and I believe this is a lot for your son.
Correct.
So once their son would go forward to, wants to actually construct, he would still have to provide the health department with a site analysis plan. I think does it require an engineered septic system? All of that information to them for an approval for that construction on that lot, which would go to get the zoning permit would go to the zoning enforcement
It
officer.
does say that in this letter. when I
Right.
actually read it, yeah.
Yeah, that's down the road though, right?
Correct, yeah.
That's okay.
That's when he's ready to build.
Right, that's what he's ready to build.
Correct.
So what you're going through right now, the subdivision process is just establishing the separate lot for him to build
So we
upon.
can transfer the lot to him.
Correct.
Right, yeah, so their approval grants you health department approval to move forward with the subdivision, then once a set of house plans is prepared and that can go.
We come back
to the
again,
Health department, then they'll review that with a approved set, with a signed engineered septic plan. I'm seeing this for the first time, that's why
I get it.
I'm trying to read as we
It's all
discuss
good.
it and get up to speed.
We had to get a variance for 3 feet in the appeals, yeah, they gave us 10 feet, so. They're okay to cooperate with us.
I mean, it looks that way.
And when they go to build it, they'll have to deal with,
I mean, if this was if this was not an application, if this was an application we've never seen before. Yeah, I'd want to be very thorough with going through this. We've seen this before. John, you were here. I don't know if you remember. This is before your time on. But yeah, they were basically within inches of having, meeting all regulations. So,
that's already.
and yeah, we don't remember if it's been to town engineering or not, but most likely not, because it doesn't necessarily meet the requirements. It has to happen.
Is that when you're ready to build?
It had previously,
For the
no,
town engineer, no.
No.
yeah, it had previously come forward as, because they knew they didn't meet the polygon requirement. The engineer they had worked with previously came forward with a text amendment
Right,
first, but he applied for both things at the same time.
right.
So the commission was dealing with the text amendments first, before they dealt with the subdivision application, because the text amendment had to be approved before
That's
the subdivision could be approved. But because the text amendment didn't end up passing, they basically just withdrew the subdivision application. So even though they had all of the previous, the wetlands approval and the health department approval for the subdivision, they couldn't go forward with it because the text amendment never passed. So basically, in the meantime, the applicant was looking for other avenues to look, and I think they even came back to the board at one point, wondering if the board was gonna take up a text amendment, on that particular, topic. And I think they had a conversation with the zoning enforcement officer. The zoning enforcement officer had looked at it and said, well, another avenue you could try would be would be going after a variance and seeing if a variance, you could get a variance from ZBA. And that's the avenue they chose, partially because I think from a time standpoint, that one looks like it might be a little faster than any other avenue that they were looking at. So they ended up getting the variance for it. And that's what brings us to where you are now. So either way, there has to be a public hearing. And at the public hearing, you would have the opportunity to at least look at the original health department approved plans, I would think, and at least so you understand what, with the understanding that that may not be exactly what they end up building, because it's not necessarily what they have to build. All it is to show or demonstrate to the commission that the lot could be built upon.
It's a buildable lot after they.
Once you guys approve it as a subdivision, right, then will be a lot of record. And then they can move forward. They could end up changing the design.
What's a buildable lot?
Once it's a buildable lot, as long as it's, granted, they're limited by their variance, but, and any other issues they have, but.
Sounds like it's here. You're for.
Earliest we could do will be December, because we've already established a public hearing, so we can add to our workload of. If it's January, it doesn't have to be at the January regular meeting, it could be sometime in January.
I prefer to do it at the regular.
Do you want to do it in December?
We're okay, it's January because we waited this long.
You just have to open, right, it just has to open within 65 days of today. So as a general rule, 65 days is 2 meetings. So
And it's
you would just
January
need,
12th, so.
right, and you're a week earlier, so if you were decided you wanted to do it January 12th date, that fits well within your time frame.
Please.
Make a motion to have a public hearing for agenda item 7C, I believe it is. On January 12th, that's during the regular meeting, right?
No,
So it's up to you.
set a time, either 6 or 6:15.
Okay, we do 6 o'clock.
In the regular meeting, later on at 6:45. As long as the time is set. Is that the way it works?
No, we don't want it in the middle of the regular meeting. We want it,
So that's it. All right.
we want it before, but, you know, I don't see this as being public outrage or a half an hour worth of discussion from the public, and so maybe it's 6:15.
Right, at 6:15.
We've already done the meeting, the public hearing twice before and no one showed, so I guess if,
Right, so I think
I'm sure for this
6:15, and then we don't have to waste half an hour sitting around here. Do I have a second? All in favor?
thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll set up a hearing and. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay. We'll table discussion for the next, to the January meeting. Need a motion. Yes, need a motion.
The motion to table discussion. 7C until January 12th. meeting.
Do a second. All in favor? Okay,
Do I have all the names? Just gotta revise the letter, I'm all set. The public meeting.
yes, so we'll see you in January.
Great, we're all set?
Yes,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Hope you enjoy the rest of the night.
Thanks, you as well.
And everybody have a good holiday.
Next
We'll
night,
see you in
everybody have a good
January.
holiday.
Maybe we'll have a delayed Christmas present for you.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That would be fabulous.
After 3 years. Good
Good night.
night.
Okay, moving on, CEO report. Okay, we've got a CEO report for November 2025, there's 4 items. Number 1, home-based business inquiries. They have responded to inquiries regarding home-based businesses, advised that home-based businesses are considered non-residential or accessory uses under the zoning regulations and therefore require submission of site plan application to the planning and zoning commission for review and approval. Kind of a big deal, site plan.
Is that true of every home-based business?
Well, home-based business.
I think it's, but if you read site plan, when you look at your site plan, part of your regulations, I believe they can ask for a waiver of like an A2 survey. Because you've dealt with home-based businesses where someone provided you a plot plan, essentially, and a description of what the use was, and not like went out and had an A2 survey done. So when it says site plan, it's not always like a
Okay, so the applicant
A2,
can
right?
request a substitute an A2 survey.
Yes, I believe you could, there's waivers that you can request in regards to the site plan.
Home-based businesses could be a broad
Right.
range of
Is it, right, is it,
Is it a 80 by 100 foot steel building in the backyard
Or
with,
somebody
you know,
crafts.
manufacturing something? Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Okay. Number two, setback inquiries. Answered, inquiries from property owners regarding zoning setbacks and related dimensional requirements. Generally, people call me. Number three, 12 to 13 North Sterling Road. Send a follow-up email to the town attorney regarding coordination of an inspection for the property at 12 to 13 North Sterling Road, awaiting a response. What kind of movement? They weren't allowed access to the property, I think, the last month's report. The owner was not allowed.
Except for they were dumping garbage or something.
That, no, it's the one where they're dumping, street sweeping from the haven.
Okay.
Yeah. And the owners were not allowing anybody on the property for inspection. So it sounds like they have some movement. Number four, potential subdivision application corresponded with potential applicants for a future subdivision, recommended that they apply for a variance for minimum size, section 4.01. As both lots in the proposed subdivision are currently under the required minimum lot size. Okay. Minimum lot size is one of the, like, our number one zoning regulation we have in town, so if you don't meet that, well, good luck.
Is
We'll
there
see what
ever
happens.
any, forgiveness with it? I mean, it's just
I mean,
barely under.
we can review the application and rule on its merits, that's all we did. Yep. I mean, we can jump to conclusions by reading the very summarized,
Right.
but we don't know the details of the application, so we have to judge it on its merits and see what it is. Okay. All right. Moving on, audience comments. Open the comments. You have anything else you'd like to add?
No comments really. Just thank you to all you guys for doing all this stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. We don't get a lot of visitors, so
Oh,
nice to have somebody here.
I expected it to be a whole bunch of people here. I've only been to like 2 of these. Ever. I've been here for like 30 years, so.
Come on.
Yeah.
I should, I have to come.
Yeah, sometimes people like those cookies.
Sometimes you even bring sleep.
Usually on time.
So you all live close by or?
I live, yeah, about 9.25 miles from here.
I live the other end of Gibsonville.
Okay.
I live off Valley View, north end of town.
Snake Meadow Hill,
You what?
Snake Meadow Hill,
And
out of town.
can you tell me?
Jim is from NECOG, who is our official town planning consulting agency.
He's official
Jim is staff. Jim and Judy are staff,
staff.
right? So they're staff members, and we
What
are,
about
we're commission members, which are volunteer.
I'm the revenue collector.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you don't pay your taxes yet.
I've seen you before.
Yes, what do you listen?
And you are like an engineer?
What was you mean?
no, I'm
Just.
just a planner.
Planner, technical planner?
Well, not, technically, I'm not even a certified planner, because I'm not AICP certified or anything.
You're the best town planner I know.
I'm just someone who's has experience and education in it, I guess. So, I work for Northeast Connecticut Council of Governments, so I work for the region,
Okay.
doing land use issues, also wetlands enforcement, things like that.
Well, thank you. So we all set?
If you have no other comments, we need one more motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
You skipped other business.
We did?
What do we say?
You went from CEO report to audience
Oh,
comments.
I did. I missed, number 9.
And there isn't anything.
Other business, regulation priorities. I don't think we have anything.
We were
were looking, the
There
one
was
thing,
one item we were talking about.
one thing that we were looking at, and then we were just gonna kind of look at it in regards to non-conforming uses. Kind of just examine, that was the,
Right,
the
Frontage.
frontage part,
frontage.
but I haven't actually had a chance to kind of compare it to
I
any
forgot,
of
I
the
didn't-
existing non-conforming use stuff,
I didn't
so.
do any research on it either, I forgot.
What was the question?
It was, we were, all I did was, at the last meeting, I reformatted that section that dealt with the frontages. And we were just gonna take a look at that, because one of the concerns in regards to the frontage was that whole portion that talks about, expanded.
It's very wordy.
Right,
Oh, that's right.
the way that it talks about how you can't expand,
It
Your
went from
property.
This much to 3 lines.
I remember.
Right, because it basically,
and
well, it's confusing and it might be a little bit over restricted simply because of the wording.
right, and I think the question was whether or not the fact that it talks about you can't expand, whether that's already covered kind of within the non-conforming section, if the word expanded can just come out because the non-conforming section already addresses any of that kind of issue.
Basically, a non-conforming in frontage, you can't do any additions to your structure.
Yeah.
Which is overly restrictive when we have a section for non-conforming lots. So it almost overrides that other section, which is not, I don't believe is the intention.
Right.
It's just the way that it's currently worded that should be adjusted, so. You wanna? I haven't even thought about this since last month, because like I said, 'cause I forgot, we should probably just make a note to review this and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting. I think it'd be a good one to make a move on, because that meeting is overly restricted as it's written. But I didn't even take 5 minutes to review this before the meeting, so. Oh, yeah, so it's 3 lines and then more of a chart form, which is easier to read than this wordy description.
And then if you want for next meeting, I can bring you a summary of, Housing Bill 8002. Once I don't think the governor's signed it yet, so I don't think it has a public act yet.
Oh, yeah, you and I talked about that like a month ago. That was potentially coming.
Yeah, they approved that last Wednesday, so.
What do you think will be the impacts for a town like ours or something that will have any effects?
Are we adjourning yet?
Oh, you want to-
Yeah, right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned officially. Fill the owl, I mean, the robot owl, not a robot.
So what the bill technically does is by the end of this year, the Office of Policy and Management is supposed to give every cog